Well, that went by super fast. Welcome back from the break, community. I'm overjoyed now to introduce our next facilitator, Mylinda Baits, who I've been watching and admiring from afar for many years, and who I've been able to know close up since coming to BST. Her embodied intuition, keen spiritual insight, and deep empathy are gifts that I've experienced firsthand. Mylinda normally would come to us from the beautiful forests of Sunwood Lakes just outside Olympia, Washington, but I understand that she and her husband Gary are in Seattle today because they have a grandchild there. So we're delighted she's joining us from Seattle. Mylinda does incredible work with international ministries as part of American Baptist Churches USA as a global consultant for training using the restorative arts. She has a huge passion for sharing arts-based healing resources with people who are actively making a difference in the world. Social change agents, global peace builders, faith community leaders, and trauma survivors. With over 30 years as an ordained clergywoman, Mylinda understands the deep connection between spirit, community, and healing. She specializes in facilitating community art making to accompany folks impacted by tragic loss. Her approach helps promote expression, nurture peace building, empower change, and sustain resiliency. It's powerful stuff. Her most recent work is focused on an intensive facilitator training program in Cuba called Expressive Arts in Transition. Mylinda is currently writing her dissertation on piecing together an aesthetic response to collective loss for the European Graduate School, where she is a PhD candidate. Please join me in giving a warm welcome by emojis or jazz hands or however you prefer to Mylinda Baits. We're really delighted, Mylinda, to hear from you and
thank you.
see the journey that you take us on this evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Angie and Melissa, and especially so grateful to Dr. Lawrence for facilitating a time for us to center, to release, and to connect the tangibility of the water and the release was moving. So thank you so much for the gift of that time for us. And you've set the stage beautifully for a time to just continue to nurture our souls. The few of us, a holy remnant of Soul Sanctuary. And I was intrigued by the title, Soul Sanctuary, and also the theme of BST for finding our deep roots and then being able to reach out. So that image sticks with me, and hopefully we can together create something that will nurture all of our souls together. So thank you for the invitation. And as Angie shared, I find life in facilitating art making together. And so we're going to be doing that. First, we'll be spending some time looking and observing. We will move into a time of movement and some writing. So if you could find, if you don't have it close at hand, something to write on and write with. So we will be doing a bit of poetry play. So if I created my holiday of play day, then today's the first installment of play day, because we're gonna do some playing as well. And so thank you for that. So if you all have that ready, and then I'm going to invite us, after we have a time of exploring together on our own, then we'll be sharing as we did a bit of a witness, and then sharing back as a whole group. So that's how our next 45 minutes or so will look. And so please let us know if you have to leave, but want to honor this time together. And so I'm going to share my screen. Can y'all see that? Great. Lawrence, you invited us to tend our souls, tend that which we're holding on to tend the things that are hurting and the things that are healing in us. And I believe that the attention that we can give to our souls is valuable, worthy time, and especially in times of deep fragility and that is fraught with chaos. We need to take these times. It's a revolutionary act to tend to our souls and to the soul of our communities. So thank you for inviting us into that. And I do trust that the soul always knows what to do to heal itself. The challenge is to silence the mind. So without so many words, I want to invite us into a time of observation of some images. And these images are taken from the 2025 Weather Photographer of the Year contest that I just saw, and I was fascinated by. These are real photos, not AI, of folks who took pictures of the climate and the weather, and they're fascinating and awe-inspiring to me. And so there's just 6 images. And what I want to invite you to do is to just take some time to observe all 6 of the images, and then focus on one that perhaps captures your attention, and then just stay with that. And then I'll give you some more prompts for that. So can you all see the 6 images? What I'd like you to do is to just take a look at each one and take some time to look at each one individually. These are images of weather, and just take it slow. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but as you do, absorb and notice what you see, and then ask yourself what is moving in me, and which of these images most resonates with my soul right now at this very moment, without having to make sense of it. There's no judgment, as our minds sometimes are critical and judgy. And so I invite you to open and to let judgment go, and just to open yourself up to what might be speaking to you from a different channel, what's moving in you. Which of these images captures your attention? And I'd like to invite you to imagine yourself in this landscape. Imagine that you're standing or sitting, or perhaps on the boat, or walking up to the fence, or walking down the road, or on the back of a motorbike, or in a boat, or walking through the green field. Imagine that you're in this scene. What do you notice? What do you see? What are the lines, the forms, and the shapes, the textures? What might you be hearing, if anything at all? Find a way to explore this image with all of your senses. What do you imagine that you might be feeling on your skin? A breeze or a coolness or a heat? What are some of the smells or the taste? And I ask that you would ask yourself, what is moving in this image? Is there movement? What is moving in me as I interact with this image? Perhaps there's a movement that comes literally or emotionally or spiritually in you. Is there a movement that can bridge the gap between your inner life and your outer life? Perhaps you might find your hands moving in response to this image. Where in your body do you feel loose or tense? Perhaps it's inviting you to rock or to walk or to sit, to wonder. If there was a movement that comes, I'd invite you, if you feel comfortable, just to go with that movement. Perhaps there's a place on your body where your hand can hold, where you just acknowledge where it's moving in you. What about this image resonates with your soul right now? And I'd like to invite you to find a writing instrument and something to write on. And just without judgment, or it doesn't have to be perfect sentences, it could be list. Describe what you see, what lines, what forms, what shapes, what colors, what textures. Describe what you feel, where you feel it, where it's moving in you. Describe with as much words or as little words as you can what you see and hear and taste and feel in this image. I'll give you about 5 minutes just to do a free write. Write whatever it is that comes or write whatever doesn't. Perhaps you want to write that you don't see or hear. That's okay too. Take another couple of minutes and continue to write, to observe, to notice. Perhaps there's things that surprise you. Write that as well. Take another 30 seconds to finish up whatever words that are waiting to come. Just like the weather, we don't have control, but we can respond and feel and encounter what comes. And now you have before you some words, perhaps some sentences, some phrases. And I want to invite you just to read what came. Read it and then take your pen and circle perhaps some words, some phrases that just shimmer to you. What is something that captures your attention from your own writing? Maybe a turn of a word or a few words together. Just reread and what shimmers, what sparkles, what captures your attention.
Uh, Did you want me to raise my hand?
We're gonna do something with it in just a minute.
Okay, okay.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna give you some more instructions, one step at a time. Yeah, just it's for you because you're gonna use it to create something else. Yeah. All right. So I want to ask a question. Do you all know what a haiku is? Is everybody familiar with haiku? It's a form of a poem where you take, it goes 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So it's a poem of 3 lines. That's all. And so I want to invite you to see if out of the words that shimmered or the phrases that shimmered, if you can create 1 or 2 haikus from your own writing. So you can look at the words and as long as the first line has 5 syllables, the second line has 7 syllables, and the third line has 5 syllables. And yeah, it doesn't have to be a complete sentence, but stay with the simple frame of 5, 7, 5. And if you come up with more than 1 or 2, that's great. And once you have 1 or 2 haikus, then just kind of indicate that you've got them. Take about 2 more minutes. Okay. How we doing? Getting close? Okay. There are such prolific poets in the room. All right. You can put some finishing touches on it as I continue to share a little bit. What I'm going to invite you to do is I think, Melissa, we have a perfect number. If we have 3 groups of 3, and that would mean all of y'all are in a group, Angie, Melissa, and everyone. And what I'd like to invite you to do is, if you're willing, it's always choice. You always have the choice not to, but to share your haiku and have the other 2 witness that. And with all good poetry readings, we do that 2 times. And so we read it through twice, and then the group can witness that and just say thank you. And so we'll do a first reading. So we've observed, we've created, and now we're going to do a reading in our small groups. And then once you all have a chance to share, you can have a time of just appreciation, maybe something that captured, that you like sparkled from somebody else's haiku. And then I'm going to invite you to do something that's pretty fun, is that we'll create a group haiku. And so as a group, you will choose a line from each person's haiku and create one that's a collective haiku. So one person's 5 syllable, one person's 7, and one person's 5. And you can do a couple of those if we have time for that. But something that will work together. So does that make sense? We share, we witness and affirm, and then we create. I really think that this line would be the great beginning, and the second line, and so then create at least one group haiku that we'll share together back in the big groups. Does that make sense? And I think that if we give 10 minutes for that gives each person a chance to share twice, some affirmations, and then come up with a group poem, a group haiku, and then we'll share that back. So if Melissa, you put us into 3 groups, that would be great. Any questions? Yeah, great, perfect. Well, so how did that go?
Well,
Did you
I had
come
a
up with
really good
something?
group.
Nice.
It was really rich.
Yes, I didn't even know I'm a poet and didn't even know it.
It's so nice to have structures that help us to be creative. Yeah. And oftentimes limits, which is, I think, the coolest thing about poetry and art, and is that the less is more. So the limits actually help us to draw out the richness and the profundity, if we want to use a poetic word, poignant in a way that helps us to focus. And I think that oftentimes we feel so overwhelmed with just life and all that we're carrying and all that's coming at us, that finding an activity or almost like playing with image and then with word brings us to a place of like groundedness and centeredness. And so I feel like,
Yeah, you have to have a guideline to do
yeah,
it. So just
yeah,
have, like you said, having structure, but
yeah.
following the structure. Because I started writing and I'm like going, well, let's see what happens. But then when you gave the structure, I went back and I said, oh, I have those in here.
I can do that. It's safe enough, connected enough, grounded enough. Doesn't have to be perfect, but something comes, and something is really spirit filled, I think, when we bring our voices together. And so with that, I would love to invite you to share what you came up with in your groups. And so our group came up with 2. So that's, if you had more than one, that's legit. And perhaps what we could do is maybe Lauren's group could start us. If I could invite you, Lauren's group, to start. And then share that with one voice, and then perhaps another person in your group could reread it, so we hear it in different voices, if that works.
Sure,
And then
sure.
maybe after we could put them in the chat so that we could have a whole poem. So okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I was blessed to be in a group with Dr. Angie and Dr. Lawrence. And what I really appreciated was we each chose different images that we were drawn to. And so that was neat. And then this just dawned on me that as we shared a little bit of the context of what we saw in those images, what that evoked in us, and what we ended up writing, you know, one of us actually was talking about a past memory. Someone else was talking about a present experience of a loved one. And the other person was talking about a future vision. So
Wow.
that was just
Wow.
really a neat thing. So our haiku goes like this. Here there is freedom, stomach bunched up a buckle. My heart swells with love.
Can we hear it again with another voice?
Sure, I'll read it. Here there is freedom, stomach bunched up a buckle. My heart swells with love.
Mm. Mm. Hmm. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for putting it in the chat as well. You came with one. You didn't come up with a second. Is that correct? Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. How about Judith's group?
Okay. Dr. Bruneman, you're going to read it, right? He said he was going to read it.
Yes, I will be one of the readers. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
So two of us had the same photo and one had a different one. And so here is the haiku. Iris of my eye, pelted, pummeled, and soaked through. Then peaceful water.
Can we hear it again? Maybe with a different voice, or?
Sure, I can read it. Iris of my eye, pelted, pummeled, and soaked through. Then peaceful water.
Wow. Thank you. Interesting when there's 3 images and there's 2 images. And then when there's 1 image that was shared. Thank you. Melissa, do you want to share one of the 2 that when there's only 2, we create 2?
Yeah, we both had the same image too, which was cool. So here's the first one. Reverberating chaotic serenity radiates as one.
And I'll read it a second time. And then Melissa, I'll start with our second one.
Okay.
Reverberating chaotic serenity radiates as one. And then our second one was the moving waters, ripples of light emanate, draws in to send out. Go ahead and read it a second, Melissa.
The moving waters, ripples of light emanate, draws in to send out.
Great. So Melissa, can you put those in the chat from us? And then, yeah. I just want us to reflect just a few minutes on the process. What worked for you, from the image, the observation, to the writing, and then the creating together? What worked? Yeah, Judith?
I think it was really nice when I went into the group and me and Dr. Brenneman, we had picked the same image, but we focused on different things. You know, I focused on the water and he focused on the round thing. And I was looking at that, but I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. But I really was more focused to the water, and I think that helped balance it because it was almost like, even though it was the same image, we there were two different perspectives. Two different.
So true.
Yeah, and then Gary, and he did something like totally different. The one that he did was just totally different. So, but you know, but having the guideline, we were able to put it together, and you know, it just all worked out. So it was a nice creative process, a nice creative process. Matter of fact, my pen ran out of ink. I got my pencil now.
Thanks. Anybody else? What worked for you?
It helped that somebody just suggested, how about these three lines together? And then we kind of went from there and tweaked it and realized we were one syllable off on one, and we found a way to fix that. Sometimes someone's got to just put something out there. And it helped to imagine Jim in like a beret with a pipe, reading the poem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Anybody else? And it could be the process of creating together. It could be the process of observing, using the image. Sometimes there aren't words to describe what it is, and sometimes just the words come later after the image. Yeah, Dr. Lawrence.
Yeah, I just want to speak briefly to the process. I thought it was really wonderful to connect with the group and to hear the context that we all brought to the words, and then to have the words just come together. It was magical. It was meaningful, and I really just appreciated that aspect of this. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
I appreciated the sort of hourglass shape to what you led us through. You know, I mean, we started kind of big with just choose an image that's speaking to you right now, and then we kind of honed and whittled, and you know, and then by connecting it with others in our group, we kind of, you know, expanded again, and all of our stories were bigger and said something distinctly different than what each of us may have been saying individually. Both valuable, but there seemed to be that kind of movement to what you led us through, and I appreciated that.
Yeah. So I'm curious, with the first question, how does my soul resonate with this? When you come back around after the process, how does your soul resonate with what came, both individually and collectively? What are, yeah.
You know, my soul, it was hard to get my soul going at the beginning. You know, and choosing a photo, and then when I chose one, it was still like excruciating. And I wouldn't say I felt very soulful, or, you know, I was busy working or trying or exerting. And it's not really until till we all shared
Mm,
and I was with others, and maybe that's my personality type too, but it's when I was together with two other people
mm,
that, first of all, that I started feeling alive or more energized. And then when I was hearing each person, and I don't know, there was just a connection. I would say there was a connection between Gary and Judith that was more meaningful than me doing it by myself.
mm.
Even though I think I had a pretty cool IQ in the end, all by myself. And I might enter it into, no, I'm kidding. No, but yeah, up until that point, I wouldn't have, it was kind of going through like when you write something, there's, you know, sometimes
Mhm.
it's hard
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah.
And then it was just like a sanctuary at the end.
Mm, mm. Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I felt kind of like, I mean, you write a haiku and then you kind of have this sense of ownership about it. Like I did it and it fits. And then somebody else, you know, someone else is going to poach a line and like, how's my brilliant line going to fit in your scheme? And I mean, because mine was the rainy picture. Mine was the rainy fishing,
Mm,
fall out of this dang boat. And then theirs was this peaceful lake. And so
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it was an interesting juxtaposition and we decided with the process. And I think it was like, then was a key link word that it's like the storm does end eventually. And so it was a good group effort.
mm.
And the time limitations mean you don't have enough time to like reconsider everything. You know, you just
Yeah.
kind of like just do it. And
Mm, mhm, mm, mm. Yeah.
I like the idea that Dr. Brenneman saw that circle as iris, because at the end I did include it, you know, in my whole write-up, but I said it is it is peaceful. The sun is causing a beautiful circular glare.
Mm,
To him,
mm,
that circular
mm,
glare was
mm.
iris.
Yeah.
I think to do it. So I thought that was a creative approach and a different perspective, you know, so
Yeah.
from what I saw.
Yeah. And what I'm picking up is perspective and difference, and in chaos theory, you know, there's this time when it just doesn't feel like right, and then there's this self-organizing principle that happens, and then something clicks and something connects, and then like, wow, something bigger than what was my own was connected, and it worked some way, you know, and the art then takes over, and we leave control out. It's kind of like the water coming through our hands into what we're holding, is that we bring it and then we let it go, and something happens with all of that. Then when we let go, the poem comes on its own. We contribute, but we don't control. And weather is like that too. There is beauty and awesomeness, and those were real pictures of real phenomenon. You know, a circular rainbow and water and a boat coming down. These are real phenomenon that move us in ways, and these words that you all came up with individually somehow work beautifully together when they're woven. And so I want to invite us, if we can, if you look at the chat, if we could have a group reading of our whole poem made up of the different haikus together. And then that will be one of the ways that we will close. And I ask you with a connection between mind and body and spirit, if perhaps in response to the group poem, the collective poem, if there's a gesture that speaks from you in response to this poem, that you might just share that with the group. So, sorry, I'm going to read and my pup wants to share as well. Apologize.
I'll
He
come get him, honey.
Yeah. So this is our group poem together. Here there is freedom, stomach bunched up a buckle. My heart swells with love. Iris of my eye, pelted and pummeled and soaked through, then peaceful water. Reverberating chaotic serenity radiates as one. The moving water's ripples of light emanate, draws in to send out. We have been drawn together here in this soul sanctuary, and we are now sent out. And so with some kind of a gesture, maybe for me, this in and out, chaos and calm. I don't know, for you, maybe a different gesture. Thank you. Thank you. And we are 2 minutes out. With great gratitude. Thank you for participating, for bringing your whole selves and your souls here, that we might share together and that we might leave differently, having encountered one another. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.